Hey everyone, welcome to another First Descendant video. So I had a chance to play Season 3 for the First Descendant, and my consensus is that the game is slightly a little bit harder than previous updates, which is good. And pretty much what I've been using to farm everything around the Axion plane is Serena. That's pretty much the answer right now, as most descendants aren't doing as much damage and weapons aren't doing too much damage as well. So does it pretty much open up the idea that Serena is broken or anything like that? I don't think she's gonna get nerfed anytime soon, and I see her as pretty much like a bridge that you could pretty much have her farm all your materials and use those materials to buff up your other descendants. And once you have all those materials, you pretty much don't really come back to Serena. So I've been using the challenge mode build that I have, and it's pretty much been working well to just complete all the missions and even use her for Wall Crasher. I do have a video of the current build that I'm using in the background video right now, pretty much showcasing the mobbing challenge mode build that I have, but I'll have it somewhere on the screen here, the stamps of that build pretty much, and you could go and watch that if you want more in depth. But pretty much these are the modules that I use for it, and the weapon that I did use for it is the Malevolent. It's pretty great for just mobbing in general, so use it with Serena, use it with other descendants. There shouldn't be any issues there. And by challenge mode, I mean like the erosion purge challenge. So not really the abyss one. I saw that they reset the Void Erosion purge challenge. I took a quick look. It looks to be about the same. I'll give that a run. If it's still the same, there's no really a chance to have an additional video for it. So Serena, it's good to find Axion plane, get your trigger mods and all your materials, and then from there on just keep building up going forward. So I look to have some interesting builds in the future with that. Now for the Wall Crasher, there's pretty much a universal build to use with Serena. It is with the Ancient Knight. This is the build that I am using with it. It's a multi-hit Colossus damage, and you pretty much just build around that. I haven't used this build with prior bosses, but for this one I had to just make Wall Crasher a lot much easier, especially if your team isn't really great. You're just gonna have to do as much damage as possible. This is the build that has been going around. I did not make this build, it works. And you could pretty much also, if you see those descendants in your lobby that has those emblems, most of them usually would just have to build for it, so you can kind of have an idea what's pretty much being used. So this is the build for Serena. You don't necessarily need Arcane Leak for it to work properly. It's pretty much based around having very low skill cost, and if you do have Arcane Leak already with the trigger modules unlocked, it allows you to pretty much have as much MP as possible when you use your first ability, which is Secret Flames, and it will just pretty much gives you a lot more MP. But I definitely was able to fight Crasher, Wall Crasher, whatever we call him, Crasher, and without it, this is the run that I did when I didn't have Arcane Lake first. You can see if you set up your components to have good combat, out of combat MP recoveries, and you have a good modifier for it, you could pretty much have unlimited MP still. So if you don't want to invest into having your trigger mod core used on Serena, you don't have to. You just have to have good components and you should be fine. So this is the run that I did with it. Not bad. Pretty much I stayed around that amount of MP for most of it throughout the entire time. Now if you do have Arcane Leak, you can see the difference is very visible. Pretty much my MP is almost at max all the time, and you use your first ability, you pretty much shoot and you pretty much gain it back, almost as if you're maxing out, overflowing on MPs. So yeah, it's a pretty good build. I've been in some Wall Crashes dungeons where nobody was doing damage. I ended up doing like 3 billion, I think it's 3 billion damage by myself or whatever. So I'll say just have it in case you get to a good party. You do it fast, you get into a bad party. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to sit there and do all the damage. I don't really see this boss as a real boss, more of a farmable, because there's really nothing that could stop you besides time. So this one was a 2-minute run with the build, so it's pretty good. Use it if you can. For the reactor, I have a skill cooldown and skill cost reactor on it. The actual level for it doesn't matter. Serena does not benefit from anything there, and I will say having the Descendant Armory Auxiliary will be good for skill cost. Now the invader set that I have is from my challenge mode erosion purge set. I just never changed, doesn't really matter. If you do want to change it, recommend using the fire rate one from the shell crusher. I just never invested into my cores on it. I don't really see a need for it since Serena performs really good from just damage itself. All it really much adds is, you know, your time to kill anything will just be faster because you have a better fire rate. So not that important to me. If it is to you or you Serena main, go right ahead. The Arche Tuning looks something like this, where you have your multi-hit on the far left and as much HP as possible. That doesn't change with Serena. Still very basic, still doing a lot of damage. For the Inversion Reinforcement, these are the ones I do recommend. I did not have the Inversion Reinforcement unlocked when I did do my, you know, non-Arche League version of the Wall Crasher, so having this on probably will benefit you more. It's good because you'll be able to get some more additional MPs. So these are the ones I do recommend, and those all has to do with, you know, multi-hit and like weak point damage, which Wall Crasher has a big hit point damage spot. And yeah, that's pretty much the build. You know, pretty much the new season, this is pretty much all you really do need to farm anything in the game. So if you did find this useful, a like would be appreciated. I'll try to have some more builds coming out when I do get my hands on some more trigger mods and see how, you know what it can do with different descendants, you know, especially Valby and Freyna, because Freyna's the GOAT. And yeah, a like would be appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't. It does help out the channel a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Later.